Hello, everyone. Welcome to the iSpring webinar series, where every week we talk about e-learning trends, share iSpring tips and tricks, and cover clients' cases. My name is Nadia. I'm a community manager at iSpring, and I will be the moderator for today's session. And today's webinar is dedicated to how to set up triggers and animations in your course, a series of webinars PowerPoint versus iSpring. And to understand this topic, I've invited my colleague from Tech Support Department, Mira. Hi, Mira. How are you doing today?
Hi, Nadia. Hello, everyone. I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm fine too, and very excited about today's presentation. So, how to set up triggers and animation in your course? We all know that one of the challenges of digital training is to keep learners engaged. Learners prefer rich, dynamic content they can interact with. This engagement can be achieved by using animations in e-learning courses. On the other hand, excessive animation can make training course look far from engaging. So today we will learn what animations are and how they are used in instructional design. We will learn the difference between good and bad animation. We will see how to create animations in PowerPoint and both animations and interaction in iSpring Suite. And we will learn some extras and special tricks. So let me start from the first point. In a broad sense, everything that can apply motion to static content can be considered animation. The simplest example of e-learning animation is when objects are revealed one by one, as if you're writing them on the blackboard. New information is presented bit by bit, and important pieces are highlighted when needed, as an example on the slide. But of course, the use of animations in e-learning doesn't stop there. For one, animation allows instructional designers to illustrate how things work. For example, pistons moving inside a car engine, heart pumping blood to arteries of a human body, or a strategy scene for a team sport like an example. Previously, creating such animations on a computer required a lot of processing power. It could only be done with a specialized software by a skilled motion animator. But those days there are endless possibilities for e-learning designers to create their own instructional animations. The simplest one being PowerPoint. It's a tool most of you are familiar with, and it happens to offer great functionality for learning animations. There are several training issues that you can address using animation. Explain processes and difficult concepts by interpreting them visually. Create a simulation of a piece of machinery or software to help learners understand how it works. Tell stories by logically connecting a sequence of slides together, creating an engaging narrative and thus keeping learners engaged in the learning process. Breathe life into slides with some simple interactivity. Since we are using PowerPoint as the authoring software of our choice, let's look at the ground rules for creating animations and this tool. We will talk about good and bad animation. You may agree with me that animations can make or break your content in the eyes of viewers, and that's why they need to be executed with style. The irony is that even though PowerPoint offers plenty of animation types, only a few of them are actually useful for e-learning. In fact, when creating a simple animation sequence, it's better to choose the two basic appear and fade animations from a variety of entrance exit animation types. These are the ones that don't draw too much attention by themselves and thus won't distract learners. Other animation types such as grow and turn, bounce, split, and several similar ones don't provide any learning value to compensate for the pointless movement they create on the slide, so it's best to avoid these altogether. So it is important to be reserved here and always remember that the aim of animation is to direct, not distract, the learner's attention. Now I want to pass the mic over my colleague so she can walk you through a step-by-step guide of creating animation in PowerPoint and iSpring Suite and share some special tricks with you. So in this section, you learn a few advanced PowerPoint techniques that involve using triggers, combining multiply animations, and others. Learning these tricks will help you understand the possibilities of PowerPoint animation and create more engaging content. So Mira, I'm pass the mic over to you, as well as the presenter's rights.
Thank you so much, Nadia. Thank you. Okay, so hello everyone. My name is Mira and I'm with iSpring Tech Support. Today I'm going to show you some useful PowerPoint and iSpring tricks, which will help you to create more engaging content. So first of all, let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Great, thank you so much. So today we are going to create an interaction which is called labeled graphic. Before we start, let's take a look at our demos. So here on my screen, you can see a picture. Let me just, yes, here. You can see a picture with buttons. And if we click on these buttons, we will see a pop-up message which includes description of this point. We can close this pop-up message and go to the next point like this. You can create such an interaction with PowerPoint or you can use iSpring. So let me show you how you can. Yes, so this is how it looks like. This is an interaction created with iSpring. Here we can click on each point and see the description of each image area. So today we are going to create both interactions with PowerPoint animations and triggers and with iSpring features. So first of all, we will start with PowerPoint. So let me just minimize this window and open my PowerPoint. I will create a blank slide. And here I would like to change the layout of my slide because I don't really like it. So I will go to layout on the toolbar and select blank. Okay. To create our interaction with PowerPoint, we will use triggers. A trigger is a clickable button on the slide that launches a few animations at the same time. To make this effect, I need to have a picture and I need to add an object that will become this button that will trigger our animations. It can be an image or, as in our case, a simple PowerPoint shape. So first of all, let's start inserting our picture. I will go to the Insert tab, click on Pictures, and select a picture, this one. Okay, I need to adjust it to my PowerPoint slide, so I will adjust it a little bit like this. Done. Now I need to add this button. We will use a PowerPoint shape, so I will go to the Insert tab again. I will click on Shapes, and here you can select whichever shape you want. In my case, I will select an oval. Okay. To make a perfect circle, I need to hold down the Shift button on my keyboard and just draw a circle like this. So now we need to change its style a little bit. So I will go to the toolbar and change its style, for example, this one. While I have it selected, I will click on Selection pane, and we will see the selection pane on the right side. Here we see all objects added to our slide. We can rename these objects, so let's do this. We'll rename the oval to Open Button 1. And we will rename our picture. It will be background. Okay. So actually, I recommend renaming all important objects on your slide in the selection pane because it makes it much easier to assign animations to them later. So now I'm going to create two new slide objects, a text box and a close button. The close button will close our pop-up message. So let's go to the Insert tab again and click on Text box. Now we will just add our text box like this. Now let me quickly copy and paste the description from my pre-made document. This. Yes, I have it. Okay, so now we need to format the text. We will need to change the color, the font. To do that, I will just select our text box. I will change the color to white. Then I will change the size to 20. And I will change the font. Let it be Century Gothic, like this. And now we need to align our text to the center. So I will click here and I will make the title bold. Okay. So now our text is ready and we need to add a line as a design part of my slide. It will be a part of our pop-up message as well. So I will go to the Insert tab again, click on Shapes and select this line, which is called Connector Elbow. I just need to draw a line from my open button to my text box like this. And I need to adjust it a little bit. Okay. And my text. Okay. Yes, I need to move it. Now we will need to change the color of our line. So I will select it and right click on it. Here we need to select Format Shape. The Format Shape panel will appear on the right side and we can change the color. Let's change it to white and let's change the width to 3. Okay, so now it looks much better, right? And let's move our text a little bit. So yes, I think it looks better now, right? Okay, so our line has been added and now we need to create our close button. To do that, I will go to the Insert tab again. We will use two shapes to create our close button. The first one will be a rectangle and the second one will be a multiplication sign. So let's add a rectangle first. And to create a square, not a rectangle, I will need to hold down the Shift button on my keyboard and just draw a square like this. Again, we will need to change the colors, the style. So I will go to the Format Shape panel again. I will, for fill, I will select No Fill. And for line, I will select Solid Line, but I will change the color to white. And I will change the width to 3. Okay, and now we need to add our multiplication sign. So I will go to the Insert tab again, click on Shapes, and select our multiplication sign. Now I need to draw it inside of this square like this. Okay, so let's change the color again. I'll go to the Format Shape panel and change the color to white. And for fill, I will change it to white as well. Okay, so all the objects have been added, and now I just would like to have this multiplication sign and the rectangle, the square, to be one object. So it is easier for me to move them together. So to do that, I will select them first. You can select these objects on your slide, or you can select these objects in the selection pane. To do that, you just need to hit the Control button on your keyboard and select the needed objects, like this. And now we can right-click on them, go to Group, and select Group. Okay, so now you can see that these two objects have become one object. And now let's rename all newly created objects in the selection pane. So again, I will just double click on the name. This will be our close button 1. Connector will be line 1. Text box will be text 1. Okay. Okay, great. So now we have all objects on our slide, and it's time to animate them. So our idea is simple. When users click on this open button, this pop-up message needs to appear. And when we hit the close button, this pop-up message should disappear. So to do that, we'll need to animate our pop-up message. Again, I will need to select the objects that are parts of my pop-up message. I will do it in the selection pane. Okay, again, I will hit the Control button on my keyboard and select them like this. And now I will go to the Animations tab. Here, I will click on Add Animation. And first, I will select an entrance animation fade. Okay. And now we will apply the second animation. The second animation will be an exit animation fade 2. Okay, so the animations have been applied, and now we're ready to set up triggers. First of all, I will need to see my animations, so I will click on Animation pane on the toolbar. Okay, now I will close the Format Background panel, and we see all animations. The green color is for entrance animations, and the red color is for exit animations. So first of all, we will set up a trigger for our entrance animations. Again, I will need to select them. I will hit the Control button on my keyboard and select them one by one. So this pop-up message needs to appear when we click on the Open button, right? So let's go to Trigger, on click off, Open button 1. Okay, great. And following the same logic, we will just select all our exit animations, click on Trigger, select on click off, close button 1. Okay, so but what about the Open button? Here, our idea is the following. When you click on the Open button, it should disappear. And when you hit the Close button, it should appear again. So all we need to do is to apply some more animations to our Open button and then move it to the corresponding triggers. So let's do this. Let's select our Open button in the selection pane. Click on Add Animation. And the first one will be an entrance animation fade. And one more animation. Again, we will click on Open button 1, Add Animation, and the second will be an exit animation fade. Okay, so our Open button 1 needs to disappear when we click on it. So we need to move it to the first trigger here. And we need to make sure that it starts with previous animations. So I will right click on it and select Start with Previous. Okay. And our Open button 1 needs to appear when we click on the close button. So we will move it to the second trigger, like this. And again, just make sure that it starts with previous animations. Okay, so our animations, our triggers are ready, and now we need to create a set of objects for the second pop-up message. The easiest way is to duplicate our first pop-up message and just change the text. So let's do this. Again, I will need to select all the objects that are parts of my first pop-up message. I will click on the Control button on my keyboard and select all these objects. Now I need to copy them. To do that, I will hit the Control button and the C button on my keyboard. They are copied, and now I just need to paste them. To do that, I will hit the Control button and the V button on my keyboard. Okay, so the objects have been copied, and all I need to do is to move them to the correct place. Okay, like this. Done. And now we need to replace the text. So I will quickly copy and paste the text from my resources. Just a second. Okay, so it has been copied. Good. And now we just need to change the formatting again, but we don't need to change the font, the size one by one like we did for the first pop-up message. We can apply the same style. To do that, we will need to select the first text box like this, then go to the Home tab and click on Format Painter. Now I need to click on my second text box. First of all, I will find it here and click on it. Okay, so you can see that the style has been applied, and I just need to make the description unbold. Okay, great. And now let's quickly rename all our newly created objects in the selection pane. So for example, I will select close button. It will be close button 2, line 2, text 2, and open button 2. Okay, great. So all the animations that we have applied for the first set of objects have been copied and the triggers were updated. So now let's preview our presentation. I will hit F5 on my keyboard to see slideshow. Okay, so as you can see, if we click on the open button 1, okay, we see the description, and we can hit the second open button and we will see the description too. But these two pop-up messages overlap and it doesn't look nice. So how can we fix that? Of course, by adding more animations. So let's make it so that when you click on open button 1, the second open button disappears and vice versa. So let's do this. I will just exit from my preview mode, and we will need to apply some more animations to our open buttons. To do that, first I will apply animations to open button 2. I will select it in the selection pane. I will go to the animations tab, click on add animation, and first I will add an exit animation fade. Okay. So our open button 2 needs to disappear when we click on open button 1. So it means that we need to move it to the first trigger, trigger open button 1. And again, make sure that it starts with previous. Okay, like this. And now let's select open button 2 again and add one more animation. This time it will be an entrance animation fade. Okay, so our open button 2 needs to appear when we hit the close button 1. So let's move it to the second trigger. And again, make it start with previous. Okay, done. Now we will do the same for our open button 1. I will select it in the selection pane, click on add animation, and all the same, I will select an exit animation fade. I will move it to our trigger open button 2. Again, make it start with previous. Again, I will select it in our selection pane, add animation, and this time it will be an entrance animation fade. Okay, so our open button 1 needs to appear when we hit close button 2. And make it start with previous. Okay, so now we are all set and it's time to preview our slide and check if everything works as expected. So let's hit F5 on our keyboard again. And now if we click on open button 1, yes, the second open button disappears. And if we hit close, it appears again. And it's the same for the second open button. Great, it looks nice. So after we created all these animations, our picture turned into an interaction, an object that reveals information at the click of a mouse. Such things make PowerPoint slides interesting and dynamic, but the downside is that it's quite difficult and time-consuming to create them. The more hotspots you have, the harder it is to handle all these objects on your screen. So if you mess up just one animation, chances that the whole thing will not work are quite high. So now we have created our interaction with PowerPoint and it's time to create our interaction with iSpring. So let's create a new slide first. I will right click here and select new slide. Now I will go to the iSpring Suite tab and click on interaction. Okay, first I need to save my presentation to be able to create it. So I will click on yes and quickly save it on my desktop. Okay, now we click on new interaction. And as you can see, iSpring has 14 interaction types. Interactions are like templates which you need to fill in with your information. And these interactions may help you to show, for example, your product development stages, or for example, the history of your company. So in our case, we will need labeled graphics. So we will click on labeled graphic and create interaction. This interaction type represents an image with labeled objects. When a label is clicked on, a detailed description of this specific image area appears. It may contain not only text, but also images, audio, video, symbols, and equations. So let's create our interaction. And first of all, we will need to change the default picture. I will click where it says change and select from file. Okay, so now I will need to select my picture like this. Now we will need to put the markers to the correct places on our picture. And to do that, I need to zoom into my picture first. So I will move the cursor to the border between our description area and image area. It will become a double arrow. And now I will click on it, hold it, and drag it to the left. So it will become larger. Now I need to select my markers from the list on the left side, for example, label 1, and you can see that it is highlighted, right? And I will move it to the correct place. Here, I select label 2, this one. Here, label 3. Here. Okay, so all markers are set and we can zoom out. Do the same, just click on it and make it smaller. Okay, great. And now it's time to add descriptions. I will quickly copy and paste them from my document. Again, I will need to click on label 1. I will copy text from my resources. And here I will just type in the title like this. Okay, the first label is ready. The second one, just do the same. Again, rename it and paste the text. And the third one, we'll have the third one this time. also. Okay, like this. Great, so we have added our titles and descriptions. And now there is one more thing that I would like to change. So I think that these marker style, marker color are don't match with our pictures. So I would like to change them to make them more attractive. And I will need to select all my labels. Again, I will hit the control button on my keyboard, select them, and go to marker colors and marker style. First, I will change the color. Let's change it to this one. And I will change the marker style. Let it be this one. Okay, so I think now it looks nicer. So now it's time to preview our interaction. So I will click on preview on the toolbar. And here we go. So if I click on these markers, I can read the description of each point. Great. And as you can see in my preview window, the interaction created with iSpring is wrapped into the default iSpring player. And of course, you can customize this player. To do so, let me just close this preview window first. To change these colors, the player colors, you will need to click on colors on the toolbar. And here you can change the color scheme of your player. You can select one scheme from our built-in presets, or you can create your own style by changing the color of each item. I will select one from the list. Let it be this one. No. Okay, so now I think it looks more interesting and attractive. And also, I have exciting news for you guys. In September, we will release the hottest update. In this upcoming update, you will be able to completely redesign the player, change the shape of buttons and fonts, add gradients to the course layout, adjust transparency, and even more. Sounds wonderful, doesn't it? And the other best thing is that a mobile version will support all these new design settings. So please don't miss it and sign up for a trial if you didn't do that. The link will be shared in our chat. And I'm also excited to invite you to our product release webinar series, which will be on September the 1st. Follow the link in the chat to see the agenda and register for it. Be the first to get a sneak peek at our brand new iSpring suite. Okay, guys, so now I'm ready to apply all the changes and save everything and return to our presentation. Great. So we have created two interactions using two different ways, PowerPoint triggers and animations and iSpring suite interaction. So which one did you like most? Nadia, please, can you please launch a poll? And guys, please share your ideas. It will be very interesting for us to know what you think. So which way did you like most? Great. And while you are sharing your thoughts, I will share two more useful PowerPoint tips with you. So the first tip will be creating highlighting interactive buttons. These buttons are a nice way to guide learners through your course. And the easiest way to do that is to create an animated shape around your button. So let's do this. I will create a new slide again. Okay. And now I will copy the open button from my first slide. I will just click on it. Again, hit the Control C on my keyboard and Control V on my third slide. Okay, and now we need to add a shape, an oval shape that will be on the top of our button. So I will go to the Insert tab, click on Shapes, and select Oval. And now I need to draw it on top of our button like this. Okay. And we will change the colors again. So I will right click on our shape and go to Format Shape. Okay, here it is. And now we can change the colors. So first of all, for fill, we will select no fill. And now I will just move it a little bit so that yes, it looks better now. Great. And I will change the color of line. I will change it to black. Okay, I need to select my newly created shape. Sorry. Okay, so I will change it to black. And I will change the transparency. Let it be 50. Okay, done. And now, optionally, we can we can add some effects. And now I will add glow effect to our newly created shape. So I will go to Effects under the Format Shape panel, click on Glow. And first I will need to change the color. Again, let it be black. And we will change the size and the transparency. You can choose and indicate any number you want, but I will just show you the parameters that will make your glow look more natural. And this will be 63, like this. Good. And now time to animate our newly created shape. So I will go to the Animations tab, click on Add Animation, and we will add two animations. The first one will be in the exit animation fade again, and the second one will be grow and shrink, grow or shrink. Okay. And now we can see all these animations in our animation tab. These ones are from first slide, so don't pay attention to that. And now we need to select our animations. I will hit the Control button on my keyboard, select them. First, I need to make sure that they start with previous, they start together. So let's select Start with Previous. And now I need to make sure that the durations are equal. So I will change the duration. I will set the same duration here. I will select 1.25. Okay. And now let's add some repeats to those animations. While I have them selected, I will right click on them and go to timing. Here I need to indicate the number of repeats. So we will indicate 999. Usually when you create a presentation with PowerPoint, you need to choose until the end of the slide. But if you are going to publish this slide with iSpring, please know that it will not work. So if you want to work with iSpring, you need to indicate the number of repeats. So as I did. Okay, so let's click on OK. And our animation is ready. So now you can see that this nice glowing effect on our slide, and you can do the same effect on other buttons, and this way your slides, your presentation will look more attractive. So this has been the first tip, and the second tip that I'm going to show you is when we want to highlight an area on a slide, or rather we will learn how to darken the entire slide except for a certain area of it. This trick may help you to focus the learner's attention on a specific area of your slide. To do that, let's create a new slide again. I will right click here, new slide. Okay, and we will need a picture. So I will use the same picture that we used on our first slide. I will go to the Insert tab, click on Pictures, and add our picture. Okay, let me adjust it to the slide side again, like this. Okay, And now we need to add 2 more shapes to create the effect. So I will go to the Insert tab and I will add a rectangle shape first. This rectangle needs to cover all pictures, so I will cover my picture with it, like this. Okay, and now we select it and go to the Format Shape panel here. And I need to change the transparency. I will change it to 70. Okay, now I will go to the Insert tab again and add one more shape. It will be free form, this one. So I need to highlight the area. I will draw my free form, this area. I'm not very good at drawing, but I will do my best to draw it quickly. Okay, so it's done. And now we need to select our both objects. I will hit the Control button and select our background. And we need to merge our shapes. So I will click on Merge Shapes on the toolbar and select Combine. Okay, so now you can see that our rectangle shape is a background, has become a background, but this free form is at the front. So now we need to change again the colors. I will select our rectangle, go to the Format Shape panel, and I will change the color. I will change the color to black, and I will change the transparency. It will be 50. Okay, good. And now we will change the line color so that it is black too, like this. Okay, now it's done. So now we need to just copy and paste our pop-up message from our first slide. So let's do this. I will go to our first slide. I will copy the first set of objects in the selection pane. So let me do it quickly. Yes, again, I'm holding down the Control button. I will copy them by hitting the Control C on my keyboard. I will go to my last slide and hit Control V. Okay, now I have them here. And now we can see that the animations have been copied as well, but the first 2 animations, we don't need them because we needed them so that our second message doesn't overlap with the first one. So now we don't need them and we will delete them like this. Okay, and we need to apply some animations to our background. So I will select the background rectangle, go to the Animations tab, and click on Add Animation. We will again add 2 animation, an entrance one, fade, and exit one, fade. Okay, done. And now we need to move these animations to the correct trigger groups. So our shape needs to appear when we click on Open button 1. So we will move this appear animation here and make it start with previous. And we will do the same for this animation. So our shape needs to disappear when we hit the close button. So I will move it here. Again, make it start with previous. Okay, done. So everything's done and now it's time to preview our slide. I will go to slideshow and click on from current slide. Okay, so now we click on the open button. Okay, and you can see that the background has darkened, but this area just the same. And if we hit the close button, it goes back to normal. Okay, so everything works as expected. And we have covered all the topics that we prepared for you today, guys. I hope that you enjoyed this webinar. I hope that you found this webinar useful. And now I think we're ready for our Q&A session. So if you have any questions, just let us know.
Thank you so much, Mira, for this wonderful webinar. We have many questions, but I think that Polly from our tech support team covered them all. So guys, if you have any questions, you're more than welcome to send them in the chat of our Demia panel. And while we are waiting, I want to ask you to fill out the survey after the webinar. It will help us to provide you with more relevant information in the future. And I sent a link in the chat. Thank you, Melissa, Hernan, and everyone for your kind words. Oh, we have a question from Katrine. She's asking, is iSpring 508 compliant?
So yes, we have accessibility mode in iSpring Suite. So we have this feature. And if you go to the iSpring Suite tab and click on Publish, you can enable this mode. So let me show you here. You can see this accessibility mode and you can switch it on or off.
Thank you so much for covering this question. Oh, we have a question from Clinton. Is there any way to caption the presentation in iSpring?
Caption, do you mean like adding some closed captions? I think so. You can add notes to your slides. So as we usually do, we can add notes to our PowerPoint slides like this, and then it will appear in the published version. We have like a separate section for notes, and here you will see all the notes.
I think that we covered that question for you, Clinton. And thank you very much, Mira, for this wonderful presentation again.